Hey everybody, Corey and I are back with another DaemonClaw update video.
Greetings, primitives. I'll be filling in for RetroCory's missing voice data.
And this one, like last time, is going to be relatively short, but we do have some cool news. On the Neo Geo side, not much to report there, as will be the case until the game is actually ready to start being produced onto the Neo Geo cartridges. We just keep testing the current build we have, report any things. Luckily, we didn't find any big new issues, but both myself and Chris tested this most current build quite a bit, and we did make a few minor tickets, but for the most part, we just keep testing as the new builds come, confirm when any of the things that we had reported in the past are fixed, and if we find new things, we report those, rinse and repeat. So it's one of those things that you can't tell when it's going to end, and then suddenly you get one or two builds in a row where no matter how much you test it, you can't find a problem, and that's where you're in a really good place. So we're working our way towards there, and the good news is we're not finding any big issues anymore, but there's still several outstanding things that really need to be fixed or improved before we launch the games. Nothing exciting to report until suddenly it'll be like, hey, we're going to start production at, an X amount of time or whatever. So we're almost there, guys. Thanks very much for hanging in there with us. And on the PC side of things, I did make a couple more graphical enhancements, and I actually found and fixed another bug in the Ram Man sub-boss at the end of level 2, and then I delivered that new build to PixelHeart for them to upload to Steam. So hopefully you should see that any day now on Steam. Back to the print stuff. Unfortunately, the local expert of that certain card game that we're emulating for the Deluxe Trading cards was on vacation. He is back now, and I did message him to remind him that I had sent him an email with the latest iterations of those cards for his testing, but I think he probably didn't want to get bothered his first day back from his vacation. But he's back now, and basically the cards are at the point where we just need the final kind of editorial approval, and it's ready to send to the printer. In fact, while I was waiting, since he was on vacation, I did keep going over and scrutinizing the cards myself, and I kept seeing ways to further improve the illustrations a bit. So that's the one good side to when things get delayed beyond our control, is we keep looking for ways to improve the value in ways we can while we're waiting. So it should just be a matter of days. Almost certainly by sometime this week, we'll be able to send those out to the printers. In fact, I have also, starting 2 days ago, looking for different printing services that we could use for these cards, because these are the deluxe cards, like fancy foil effect on it, and not every card printer does it. And annoyingly, the one that I had originally researched, I went back to their website now that it's getting close to time to print them, and the website is gone. So they're either out of business or changed their company name and website or whatever, and I have no idea. But just did a bunch of web research and found 4 candidates and emailed them. But I've heard back from 2 of them out of the 4 so far, and it's encouraging. So we'll have at least a couple options, and we could just go with the ones with the best track record versus price versus quality.
Here, Flesh Corey mentioned that he and Meat Mike made a lot of progress on the art book, filling in most of the remaining needed graphics, and they have regular meetings to work together towards finalizing the pages.
Yeah, always a blast, and we got many pages super close to final. Like, a few of them literally just need a final proofread with all 3 of us, Corey, Chris, and myself, going through and really looking carefully for any kind of typographical or grammatical error or anything that's remotely misaligned. Or we're gonna have to start paying attention to the numbering of pages now that it's locked in what each page is. We can make sure that the page numbers are all correct, and one of the last things is to just create the table of contents.
Here, Obsolete Corey mentioned they were using the same fonts they had already used in DaemonClaw marketing material, but these fonts had some specific letters that needed to be replaced.
Yep. And replace, in the lowercase, the Z is the most common one, and unfortunately we use Z's more often than most because we've got weird creature names and the Zverkin and stuff like that. So it's oh, there's a Z. And it is shocking too, because you'll find some gorgeous fonts, and then it's why did they make this decision? And not only make Like, half the time they'll make a letter look completely unintelligible, and then the other half they'll make it look like an alien version of a totally different letter. Oh, this one's legible, but it's legible as a totally different letter. That's no good. So yeah, it's just one of the little extra bits of work that need to go into really making things nice. But like, that's the thing, you find an otherwise perfect font for it, it's worth the extra work to fix those letters than to just go with well, this font's less pretty and less legible all around, but it's safe. You don't need to edit it beyond just typing it out. We won't settle for that. We're gonna pick the best looking font, and if it has a couple of disastrous letters, we'll just hand replace those in every page, every paragraph, every sentence that those letters show up. As we mentioned in the previous video and in our special celebratory 3,000 plus subscriber video, we're going to start live streaming very soon, and one of the many things we're going to be doing in the live streams is work on the games themselves, but also some of the illustrations I need to do. So behind me in a few days, I'm going to change out the table. It has the 3D printer back there with my drawing table, and I'm going to set up a camera there too, so I can literally just switch a scene in OBS while we're live streaming, roll back 4 feet or reverse around, and I'll be drawing at the drawing table, and you guys will be able to see me actually illustrating, inking, and then coloring the illustrations for the bosses that we need for the art book. But there will also be illustrations coming up that I'll need to do for Metro Siege, and eventually even paint the entire box art for Metro Siege. So that'll be like some of the more fine art, actual physical media stuff you'll be able to see in the live streams. But more often than not, most of the time in the streams will be us actually working on the game live. So you'll see pixel art, you'll see animation creation, you'll see us brainstorming gameplay sometimes. And then keep in mind also, for the real deep, more spoilery behind the scenes stuff, you can actually sit in with pre-recorded, like the full meetings that we've had in the past and will continue to have. We record most of them when we do them, and then we've been putting them up exclusively for our Patreon patrons to be able to watch, where you literally like sit in and witness that moment where Corey or myself, or very often together, one of us will come up with a spark of an idea, and then we'll bounce it back and forth, and you know, you could see where the ideas came into fruition for plot points and gameplay and stuff like that. So that's going to happen to some degree during the live streams, but especially in these types of videos that will be members only or Patreon. So that's another cool thing that you might find interesting. And speaking of those videos, I've been going through them to put them up on YouTube for members only. So I've been re-watching them, and it's killing two birds with one stone, because for those of you who participated or had their eyes on the DaemonClaw Kickstarter all that time ago, one of the things we offered was a Forging DaemonClaw DVD that's basically like a documentary about the birth of DaemonClaw as a game concept, how that evolved, and then it's going to have clips from all the most critical moments where we made these really specific design decisions and art decisions and gameplay decisions. The best of moments, all the critical things. And the cool thing is, like, we'll be able to show us brainstorming it and then show footage of how it turned out in the game. So that's really exciting stuff. But anyway, the full conversations, if you are interested in gameplay design, story, fiction design, and all of that kind of stuff, if either you're an aspiring game creator yourself or are just interested in that side of things, it really is interesting. Like, I personally got excited to re-listening to some of these old videos from a couple of years ago where Corey and I are brainstorming. There were ideas that we came up with that we kind of abandoned and went a different way, where I'm going like, those are really cool ideas. We should still use them at some point. You know, maybe even for a different game or another game in that same universe, or so many possibilities. But then other things, stuff that did end up in the game, just reliving the exact moment that the spark happened. It was actually very fun listen. But anyway, that's pretty much it for the actual DaemonClaw update. Once again, please do take a look. If you're not subscribed on our YouTube channel, I'll also link, like I said, to our Twitch channel, which has been largely ignored by us for the last many years. We did like one test stream many years ago when we set up an account, but our goal is to start simultaneously streaming to YouTube and Twitch sometime hopefully early this coming week. So keep an eye out for that, and please do follow. Links will be in the description. Follow on either of the platforms you prefer the most, and we would love to see you there in the chat.
Here, hair-covered Corey and bald Mike reminded you viewers that you can go to BitBeamCannon.com to follow all of their game projects: DaemonClaw, Metal Mac, and Metro Siege.
All right, awesome. Well, that'll be it for this one. Thanks as always, everyone, for watching and your support and your patience as we are finally super close to wrapping up DaemonClaw for Neo Geo, and progress is really going to start ramping up very soon, especially as the live streams start happening. There's going to be a lot of work done behind the scenes when we're not live streaming, but we'll also be live streaming, which hopefully will be fun and entertaining, and you'll really get to see what things we're working on for the different games. So, well, again, we hope to see you there, and that'll be it for this video, and we'll be back again with another one very soon.
If you enjoy our content and want to keep up to date on our games, please leave a like and subscribe. Also, if you want to support our projects, consider becoming a patron. The link's in the description, and we'll see you soon.
The distant future, the distant future.
It is the distant future, the year 2000.